Have you ever been so, engrossed in a text message or maybe just scrolling that you walk straight into a poll?
Oh, I think we've all been there.
I know, I have. And it's that sudden, jarring moment where you realize this little glass rectangle has completely stolen your attention from the real world. That feeling. That's where our deep dive begins today.
That moment really encapsulates the problem, doesn't it? It's the constant cognitive load that the screen imposes.
Yeah.
You have to pull it out, and your entire attention, your whole presence just has to shift immediately.
Exactly. And that systemic frustration is what our source material is really targeting. The core argument we're unpacking is that the current smartphone interface is, well, fundamentally lousy.
Lousy, yeah. I like that word for it.
And the reason it's lousy, they say, is because it forces you to stop what you're doing, pull it out, and stare at a screen, which, as the critique notes, just kills the social vibe.
It's an indictment of the whole form factor. I mean, for 2 decades now, we've been conditioned to look down. The interface itself just prevents us from being truly present.
So our mission today is to explore the alternative future, the tech designed to fix this, the rise of so-called invisible interfaces. We're tracking this huge paradigm shift where we're finally trying to look up again.
And this isn't just about making phones a little bit better. It's a radical change in how we think about interaction. We're moving the interface from something that demands all of our visual attention to something ambient, almost subconscious.
And to make this really concrete for you, we are going to focus on one specific case study. It's a device called the Sandbar ring. We're going to look at how this tiny voice-activated device promises to, well, untether us. Okay, so let's start by really dissecting that claim. Why is the mobile screen experience considered so lousy by these innovators? When we talk about cognitive load, what specifically about that screen interaction causes that drain?
It's multi-layered. First, you've got the visual hierarchy. The second you open a screen, you're hit with hundreds of options, notifications, apps, icons. It forces what psychologists call choice fatigue.
Right. So even if you just meant to check the weather.
Exactly. Your brain still has to actively filter out the email banner, the social media icon, the news alert.
Yeah.
It's work.
So it's not just the content we're consuming, it's the constant management of all this overwhelming possibility. It fractures our attention, like the source says, into these tiny, inefficient pieces.
Precisely. And the physics of it are restrictive too. I mean, the actual physical act of stopping, holding the device, using the touch screen, it requires you to disengage from whatever you were just doing.
You can't really do both well. If you try to walk and text, you're either dangerous or you're just painfully slow.
It's a design flaw, really, for a world that requires us to be continuously present.
Okay, I get the goal of efficiency and presence, but let me just play devil's advocate here for a second, because I think a lot of listeners might feel this way. Isn't the smartphone still the best tool, maybe the only tool, for really complex tasks?
Like what?
Like writing a long email, editing a spreadsheet, doing deep research. You need that big visual field for that stuff. Are we just sacrificing necessary utility for a small gain in presence? Where's the trade-off?
That is the critical challenge. And the invisible interface movement, they aren't trying to replace the spreadsheet.
Yep.
They're targeting the other 80% of our interactions, the ones that currently force us to look down but don't actually need high visual bandwidth. Things like quick messages, capturing a fleeting idea, organizing a thought.
So it's about segmenting the interactions. They want to free up our brains for, continuous high-level thinking, while the tech handles all the low-level, high-frequency stuff.
You've got it. And if we connect this to the bigger picture that the sources really emphasize, this move is actually something profound. We spent 2 decades looking down. This effort is about reclaiming our presence. It's about, and I'm quoting here, an effort to reclaim our humanity from the algorithms that profit from our distraction.
Wow.
The observation that we are finally trying to look up again really drives home how foundational this shift is. It's an admission that the mobile screen, for all its wonders, was ultimately restrictive.
So the screen demanded the world wait for us. But these new interfaces are designed to let us get information while we are still fully engaged in the world without hitting that pause button.
No more pause button.
So if the solution is to look up, what does that actually look like? That brings us to Sandbar, the ring, which is held up as this premier example. Let's get into the specifics of the tech. A voice-activated ring you wear on your index finger.
The ring form factor is, it's aggressive in its commitment to being invisible. It's ultra-portable, it's discreet, it's always on. It moves the interaction from your pocket, a separate thing you have to go get to your hand. It becomes a continuous extension of you.
The source material calls it a thought companion. I love that phrase. It's almost poetic. But let's make it concrete. So imagine I'm walking through a museum with a friend, and a thought for a new project just hits me. I don't want to stop the conversation.
But you know if you wait, you'll lose it.
Exactly. What does the Sandbar ring do in that moment?
The goal is seamless capture. You just speak your idea, maybe almost whisper it. Let's say it's a complex string of 3 different concepts: a to-do list item, a link to look up later, and a recipe idea. The input is just your voice. Your eyes and your hands are free. And, crucially, no screen is required.
But what about organization? That's the key part, isn't it? That's what separates a high-end AI from just a voice recorder. If I'm describing 3 totally different things, does the AI actually separate those inputs?
That is the core value proposition. The AI inside doesn't just record the audio. It organizes the output in real time. It figures out the context, the keywords, the intent. So yes, that string of concepts should be immediately parsed.
Into dedicated apps.
Right. The recipe idea goes to your cooking app, the to-do item lands in your task manager, and the link gets saved to your notes. All without you touching a single screen or issuing multiple commands. It turns an ambient thought into organized knowledge. Instantly.
That dramatically cuts down on the cognitive load. No post-capture processing, it's frictionless. But I have to push back a bit on the form factor. A ring is so small. What about real-world challenges like battery life or latency? Or the big one, ambient noise cancellation if you're in a crowded coffee shop.
And that skepticism is totally well-founded. It's why the pedigree of the founders here matters so much. They came directly from CTRL Labs.
The company Meta acquired.
Exactly. They were pioneers in really nuanced input methods.
Remind us why that background is so crucial, because brain-computer stuff can feel a little broad for our listeners.
Well, it's the difference between a simple microphone and a really sophisticated sensor system that's optimized for intent. CTRL Labs specialized in pulling complex intent from minimal physical input. We're talking micro gestures, neural signals, highly precise voice capture.
I see.
And that background translates directly to the challenges of a ring. They know how to build ultra-low power systems that can continuously listen for subtle commands and, distinguish your voice from all the background chatter.
So their expertise isn't just in general AI. It's specifically in high-precision inference from really limited data streams. That gives you confidence this isn't science fiction. It's a very focused engineering solution.
Precisely. It's proof they understand the engineering trade-offs you have to make for a high-utility, always-on device. It's focused on that single problem.
Yeah.
Untethering us, not trying to be a whole phone on your finger.
Okay, so we've established the need for the shift. People are fed up with the screen, and we have the technology to solve it. So now let's look at the validation. Is the market actually ready for this?
Or is this just a niche thing for early adopters?
Well, the data says the movement is already accelerating. Significantly.
And what's the signal? Is it just venture capital buzz, or are people actually buying things?
It's pure consumer behavior. Smart ring shipments, this exact form factor, this idea of minimal input wearables, have increased by a massive 42% in the last year alone.
42%. Wow.
That's not a rounding error. That's consumers actively demanding an alternative to their phone and their watch for things like quick knowledge capture and health tracking.
A 42% jump confirms that the friction of the screen has become, intolerable for some core functions.
Right.
People are voting with their wallets for something more discreet, more non-disruptive.
Let's just pause on that data point for a moment because it completely remaps the landscape of profitability, which is an argument that Callaghan makes in the source material. This shift toward invisible interfaces changes where the real money is made.
Right. And Callaghan's core insight here is fantastic. The big, lucrative opportunities aren't the foundational hardware anymore. The powerful AI chips, the silicon, they're becoming commoditized.
Everybody's building them.
Everybody's building them. It's a necessary input, sure, but it's not the ultimate source of value.
Instead, the biggest financial opportunities are pivoting directly to, and I quote, the apps that let us live our lives without being tethered to a screen. The value isn't just computational power anymore. It's the utility you can deliver while a person stays present.
That is the essential strategic implication. If your product or your service lets a user achieve the same result, knowledge, organization, communication, without demanding that precious commodity of their visual attention, you are delivering premium value. You're essentially selling back a user's attention, and that's a very scarce resource today.
And this leads us to the synthesis for you, the learner, listening to this deep dive. This economic shift directly benefits your pursuit of efficiency. It promises tools that enhance your knowledge without the usual cost of, cognitive friction or social distraction.
Right. Think about your goal of gaining knowledge quickly, of getting to those aha moments. If you're currently juggling multiple task managers, note-taking apps, calendar alerts, this tech provides the first truly seamless bridge from a fleeting thought to durable, organized knowledge.
It removes the 3 steps we all do now. Fumble for your phone, unlock it, find the app, navigate the menu.
Yeah.
That efficiency shortcut is the ultimate selling point of the invisible interface. It's about moving from that lousy, demanding interaction to one that respects our time and our focus. So to summarize our deep dive, the smartphone's lousy screen experience fractures our attention. But the rise of these advanced voice-activated invisible devices like the Sandbar Ring, which are validated by serious tech founders, and that massive 42% market spike signals a fundamental move. A move toward untethered efficiency, a shortcut to knowledge while staying present.
And the economic lesson is clear. The highest value is found in technology that liberates us, profitability shifting from the hardware that does the processing to the software utility that enables our presence.
Which leaves us with the final provocative question that builds on that pivot. If the most valuable tech in the near future is what untethers us, and the most valuable data stream is our whispered, immediate thoughts, the stuff we capture without the filter of a screen, who is going to build the ecosystem around these devices we never have to look at?
And maybe more importantly, who will control that continuous, intimate data stream from our thought companions? Something to ponder as you reclaim your gaze.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.